Jamie Green. And I don't see Tahia Nyahuma here. Stan Straughter from ACBC. And then our next set of panelists will start with Christina Watson, but I'm going to bring those folks up first. Okay, thank you.
Greetings, greetings, greetings. Good afternoon, everybody. Oh, that was weak. Good afternoon, everyone. There we go. And Happy New Year to everybody. We are above ground, being seen versus being viewed. And I feel like that is a purpose. There's a purpose that a lot of us are here. Before we get to remarks, I know it's dangerous when you give politicians and preachers mic, but I ain't gonna do that to y'all today. I have the honor of bringing up Florence. Is it Florence Torsen Hart? Yes. You're gonna bring us remarks for a special guest that is here? All right, young lady.
Hello. Geez, we are the farm show. Everybody ate, right? Hello. Hello. Yeah, okay, that's more like it. My name is Florence Torsen Hart. I'm with the U.S. Ghana Chamber of Commerce. This is my first farm show. And I've lived in Philadelphia for more than 20 years. I think I should be shot, right, for not being here. I'm having so much fun here, eating all of the food, maybe eating more food than seeing the exhibits, but eventually we'll get to that. But thank you all for having us here. On behalf of the U.S. Ghana Chamber of Commerce, we are excited to be part of it. I have the distinct pleasure. We have an investment forum tomorrow in Philadelphia, and the government of Ghana and the embassy were kind enough to send cabinet ministers from Ghana to come to the event. But we can't come without coming to the farm show, so we thought it was a good idea to bring some of them here. So today I want us to acknowledge the Ghanaian ambassador to the United States, His Excellency Victor Emmanuel Smith. Yay. We also have the presidential, the minister, I would say minister, in the office of the president responsible for special initiatives. Agric is his main focus. We have Dr. David Otokono. No, Dr. Peter Otokono, sorry. Jeez, I must have eaten too much, yeah. So it is my pleasure to ask the ambassador from Ghana to the United States, His Excellency Victor Emmanuel Smith, to bring us greetings.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Well, greetings from DC and from Ghana. We're here to try and encourage investments into our country to help develop our economy. We cannot just be diplomats and not do that. So it is our intention to whip up a lot of interest in our country because we want to develop and become like America. And in so doing, we're trying to also encourage our brethren in the diaspora to enter into some sort of partnership with American investors or those with best practices and know-how to come and help us to develop. At the same time, whilst doing that, also improve on their businesses as well. So it's a win-win for the two of us, as we've had a very cordial relations all these years, the US and the United States. Our first president was a student of Lincoln University, and so we never forget Philadelphia and the Pennsylvania as a whole. We are here this afternoon to just be part of the farm show and prepare for tomorrow's investment forum. I hope that you all can come and we will share the opportunities for investments in our country. Thank you so much for having us.
So in my line of work, you stay ready so that you don't have to get ready. So if you don't see a script, I'm acting like we're family and we're gonna do it professionally. And if I gotta tap somebody to tell me what next to do, then Aisha will text me. I'm pulling out my phone, Aisha. And if you gotta tell me to keep it moving, we're gonna keep it moving. I know he doesn't know I'm about to do this, but we do have a young man here by the name of Stan Strauters, who does amazing work in this region, in this country, and has given the proud and has developed some things that people really do not know. And the last time I think I talked to you, you were in the tender age of you just had a beautiful birthday. I just want y'all to know that this young man is 84 years of age. So if my panelists, can I have a little privilege to let the young man go first? Is that okay? So, Brother Stan, this is your baby and what you have given birth to. So this may be some people in this room's first time coming to the farm show. Explain to them why it is important and why you have brought them here today. I got you. There you go.
Thank you very much. And I need to take a personal privilege for one moment and introduce the representative appropriately. She is not only representative from Commonwealth of Pennsylvania in her district, but she's also the vice chair of the Pennsylvania Legislative Black Caucus, and she is on the Agricultural Committee, as I should just pointed out recently. All that's important to you because there was a time when we started and there were no black people coming to the farm show or on the Agricultural Committee or in leadership for a long time. So we are blessed to have a triple hitter here, okay? A triple hitter.
Thank you, Brother Stan. Thank you.
For you that don't know, this is power. And I will tell you a secret. We got something else going here called a sisters group. I'm not going to talk about that now. But I know where the deep power is. And we thank you and Aisha for being here. Thank you very much. That was number one. The second thing is, you know, when we started Africa Town, the concept even, we had to go to the Philadelphia Department of Commerce to get some money because the council lady had appropriated $500,000. But the people that had to distribute the money was then the director of commerce of the city of Philadelphia. And I want to thank Mr. Harold Epps for being that director that helped us get the money so we can do what everybody's taking credit for it now, Harold, but they don't know the hard work he had to do to get us the money out, okay? But thank you very much publicly to let everybody know the importance of having friends and people that understand what it is you're trying to do and help facilitate that work as we go forward. So I wanted to say that one. And finally, before I get into me, we have to give the ambassador from the Republic of Ghana a big, big hand. If the senator was here, he would say, if Senator Street were here, he would say this to you. If you take cocoa beans out of the Pennsylvania economy, we'd have a depression from the port straight up to Hershey's. We're one of the world's leading chocolate manufacturing industries in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. We don't grow cocoa bean. We don't grow cocoa bean in the United States of America. So we want to thank our ambassador for being here, taking time from his important schedule to come to talk. Number one. I think number two, his vision of connecting us closer and closer with trade between the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, and the Republic of Ghana is very important. So I just want to say that. Y'all can dispute me if you want, okay? Yes, but I get the advantage of being the oldest guy. You don't dispute old people, okay? So let me just say again, and thank all of you for being here, because this is important, and this type of meeting important because with people like them, and I also want to point out Mr. David Brow, who is the Deputy Director of the Office of International Business Development for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, who has helped facilitate all of the things we're doing with this trade. We got this guy he goes to Africa like, Stan, I just got back from Rwanda, you know what I mean? Like, have you been there? So we want to thank David and his leadership for doing that and keeping things going and sharing with us. We had a wonderful African and Caribbean agricultural forum on Monday that he hosted with us in the Commerce Building, and we continue to move things forward, so it's great. Let me just say now, for us being here, it is not only significant to be here, but all of the things that we're doing here. As I said, my senator would say, in Pennsylvania, we, this Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, if we were a nation, we'd be the 18th largest nation in the world in agriculture. Agriculture industry in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, I'm saying this because he's not here. Agriculture in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania is a $126 billion industry, billion with a B. So we have something not only to be part of, but to continue to promote. And the opportunity for us to be involved with the African Caribbean countries to not only bring them here to look for markets, but more importantly to look at how can we work together to expand the markets that we have here. One of the initiatives that we've been talking about for years with, I need to give Dr. Gaston Mangalou here, who's the director of our Africa Town Project and Development, along with Dwight from Capstone Industry. We want to appreciate you guys for being here. One of the things we're talking about is how to connect Pennsylvania farmers to farmers in Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Liberia, and this is something we've been working on for some time. It's going to come in fruition. We have a number of things, a lady with some great ideas. I hope y'all get a chance to talk to her personally. But this young lady here, Dr. Jamie Green, has helped us to think through that. She's connected us with the president of Penn State University and the dean of the College of Agriculture. She's helped to guide some of our African countries through partnerships. She can tell you that the partnerships with the universities in Liberia, also in Nigeria. So we have the foundation for many things to get done. And this is an opportunity for us to explore that. But the Farmer to Farmer program allows us to take the expertise with Pennsylvania farmers for you to see what's here and how do you take it home, how do you transition it and make it something that you can use at home in your own country or even use as the basis upon doing business in African and Caribbean countries. So this is an important initiative that you're here. It may not look fun, it may smell a little funny, but these people are making money up here, you know, so it's very good. Secondly, I wanted to say, and the ambassador, I just talked about this, I want to announce on Monday, January 11th, we had talked about the possibility of the Africa Growth and Opportunity Act, which was a major trade initiative between the United States and African countries. We thought it wasn't going anywhere. It was a Democratic-led thing with former President Bill Clinton over 25 years ago. But thanks to the leadership of some Republican leaders in the House and Democratic leaders and a young lady by the name of Rosa Whitaker, the bill passed the House for an extension of 3 years just on the 11th. We're waiting for it to get to the Senate, and people are looking at the Senate pass it rather swiftly. They changed some rules so the Senate could expedite it, and hopefully the president will sign it. I want to say that for the ambassador because he was here in the beginning when we talked about 25 years ago, 95. So we're having some progress, and this is going to be an opportunity for African countries to import almost duty-free African produced products, and maybe this time, ambassador, we'll take advantage of the added value things in Africa and Ghana and can send them through this marketplace. So it's going to take some work, and I'm hoping Rep and Dr. Green, with this kind of brain thrust we have here, we can get together and begin to move some very good concrete things here. So let me just stop there and thank you again for all of you being here and assisting and consistently help you. I'll be ready for questions and answers if you want to. Okay?
Thank you, Brother Stan. And also want to acknowledge James K. Zhang, the president of Sino-American Business and Travel Association. Please stand and give us a wave. Thank you so much for being here. Don't get mad at me, Brother Mark, but this sister does some things for me all the time. Can I get Dr. James? Okay, all right. A lot of times in this world of agriculture, when I talk about agriculture, it does not look like people like me, and it surely doesn't look like my sister right here. So when we say the word $126 billion industry, people should have been running up to the front of this room. I just want to give you something that people in this room don't even know. The other side of the aisle, which are my Republican colleagues, there is a lottery for them to be a part of the committee. I'm going to say that again. A lottery for them to be a part of the Agriculture Committee. So when I was making my decision 6 years ago, what committee should I join, my 2 phone calls were with Congressman Evans and with Senator Street. And they literally broke it down to me saying, you don't realize what is about to happen on agriculture and how many things come out of agriculture. How also do I know about agriculture? How many people in here are dog lovers? Pet lovers, right? Those licenses, ag. Ooh, we didn't know that, right? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things that come out of agriculture outside of food that people aren't even aware about. And that let me know that this is the right committee for me, and it's for the right committee for individuals, especially our children. And I'm going to turn to Dr. Jamie. So, Dr. Green, share with us why you're in this role and your background, which has gotten you to this point. Because I think a lot of people may not even understand when they see your name of the impact of urban farming, what that actually means, especially depending on what parts of this Commonwealth you live in. I'm looking at a lot of individuals from the area that I represent, which is Philadelphia, parts of East and West Oak Lane, Allegheny, Nicetown, Logan, and Germantown. Well, guess what? There's individuals who may have vacant lots. And if they're thinking about what they're going to do with this vacant lot, there you go. We're talking about food deserts. We have things in our neighborhoods that we haven't even think about how we can be creative into providing food sources for our neighbors. So Dr. Green, please enlighten this audience today of your background and what your role is currently in our Department of Ag. Thank you.
Challenging question. So my name is Jamie Green. I am the director of the Eastern Region for the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture. I'm also the special advisor to the Secretary for Urban Agriculture across the Commonwealth, which is a relatively new part of the portfolio, but a testimony to not only his commitment to agriculture in any zip code by anyone, but also part of our extraordinary farm bill that started in 2019 that focused on agriculture as an economic driver. My background, very simply, I have several areas of expertise, but the one that's the most salient is to create a future for young people. So to that end, I am a certified cognitive psychologist with a specialization in engineering and computer science for sustainability, food, energy, and water. So the way I got here is I'm also a hydroponic farmer. So my husband and I started looking at how do you create ways to show young people. I can show you better than I can tell you, often is what we've experienced with the children we've worked for. I've spent 15 years in the College of Engineering, very, very familiar. My sons are all engineers, so I walk it and I talk it. And I am also to the what I call a cultural trends analyst. So I look at the geopolitical realities that we're all facing. I look at how people are responding. I look at where the opportunities are, and I try to make those connections happen. In terms of the world of urban agriculture, so urban agriculture is unique and rapidly growing across the world in every major city. Here in the Commonwealth, we've invested about $4 million in infrastructure to support people who are learning to grow while conserving water and producing energy in the cities that are attracting people from the rural sector. Now, does that mean that urban agriculture is separate from rural agriculture? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There are opportunities for rural, suburban, and urban agriculture to lift the economic opportunity of every major urban center, whether you're growing in the rural sector and we're using your biomaterials to produce energy, we're using biomaterials to manufacture, or we want people who are adding value anywhere in the world that allows them to export anywhere in the world. We are living in very complicated times, and so the one solution set I'll share with you that was very successful for me when I worked in engineering before being honored enough for the secretary to ask me to join his team, is that the relationships at the, and I really should stop for a second and pause. I wouldn't be here without the work of Stan Straughter. I really, you threw me off. You threw me off. I'm like, okay, you want me to talk about me? But this is really testimony to the work and the drive of a Stan Straughter, of a Leon Sullivan before him, of my mother who is here but resting right now, of people who have fought the good fight inside of this country and still have not given up. If you don't know an octogenarian right now who is kicking butt and taking names, something's wrong with your life. Something's wrong with your life. So I just want to share with you that, Stan, from the bottom of my heart, from the first time we brought schools in from Nigeria, we signed MOUs with engineering colleges across Nigeria with Temple Engineering to establish relationships for building and innovating, whether it was, I see a friend of mine in here from Penn State. Say hi, David. So the idea would be to connect our universities to our universities around the world. That's the first and easiest in when you're talking about agriculture. Those are the relationships, those are the MOUs that we're advancing. We're developing strategic priorities now. So I'm going to pause there, let you know that tomorrow is the Urban Ag convening for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania here at the Farm Show. We're bringing in about 150 people to talk about strategy regarding urban agriculture. So our local, state, and national leaders will be here. So I regret I won't be there for the Ghana U.S. Investment Initiative. Hey, Brother Thomas. And so what we will do is we will circle back, and I am open to questions and future virtual meetings, et cetera, just to talk about ways to establish those relationships that can lead to the processing equipment, the expertise, and the investment that will allow us to increase import and export and trade. So I'll pause there and wait for questions when that time.
All right.
Well, I should have known why we had this brother. We got a brother on the panel by the name of Mark Edwards. And as I was doing my homework, I should have known you were my brother. I'm an alum of Bennett College, Mr. Morehouse man over there. I should have known you and the senator with your Morehouse connection, okay? And also I see that you love to ride horses. You were a barber. And you were a campus police. So you are a man of many talents. Please share with me in your current role, define for those who may not understand when we're truly talking about food insecurities and what that truly means. I need you all to know in this room, I finally took off Uber Eats off my phone. I know. Dangerous, right? When you start, and the reason how I knew, because I got an emergency phone call from my husband telling me how much I spent last year on Uber Eats, because it's the convenience of Uber eating for everything. I was getting ice cream, I was getting pretzels, I was getting cookies, and groceries too, but all of these things that we were paying to have it delivered because of the convenience, look at the cost, and then look how it wasn't nutrition. You know what I mean? So it did, I sweat a little bit, but I'm telling you now, I have not put Uber Eats back on my phone. Maybe I'll get rid of Instacart too for the grocery shopping. It's baby steps, but I'm saying all of that to say it's putting individuals like myself back into the kitchen to cook. So not because I don't know how, it's because of the convenience. So explain to us, Mark, when we're talking about these food insecurities, what are your ABCs? How is it bringing people back into their kitchens when a lot of these costs for eggs and everything now is more expensive? You know, before I thought I had it, I could do maybe a 6-egg omelet. Between me and my husband, man, that might be about 2, maybe 1 egg, and we get cheap. You know, I'm just saying, because when things are more expensive, you have to be creative with food. Come on and welcome the people, Mark.
So thank you very much. I'm going to make some remarks from a systems perspective, but before I do that, let's give a round of applause for our state representative for her leadership. And so I honor all of our panelists and those who have spoken before me, as well as those of you who are sharing space with us here today in this room and those that are online. I'm Mark Edwards, and I'm President and CEO of the Food Trust. I want to talk about food insecurity from a systems perspective. Every community operates inside of a food system, from farmers who grow food, to businesses that process and sell food, to families who prepare and eat food, the land that they care for, the watering that they provide, the water that we have access to, and the labor that sustains the land that produces the food. Here in Philadelphia, that system, well, in Pennsylvania, I'm sorry, that system is strong, but it's under strain. One of the things that we've seen, or that we see today, is that some things that we've taken for granted in this country as strong and stable, we're learning they're not as strong and stable as we once thought they were, like democracy, which is under threat. The same thing holds true to our food system. Here in Pennsylvania, our food system is under real strain, but there are tremendous opportunities. You've heard that, a little bit about that already, and if you've spent any time at other activities here at the Farm Show, you've learned about that opportunity that exists. But the challenges that we face are significant. 1 in 8 Pennsylvanians experiences hunger. Nearly 500,000 of that number are children. At the same time, diet-related disease continues to be on the rise. Small food businesses experience tremendous pressure, and food waste remains tremendously high, all while healthcare costs rise uncontrollably. If you haven't taken the opportunity and you care to accept this small challenge, go and visit a facility that is responsible for addressing food waste. It's astounding to learn the tonnage of food that's being wasted in this country and even in this state. And so when you think about food insecurity, I pose an existential question. When you look at the food ecosystem and how it operates, as farmers producing food, that's urban farmers producing food, that's food waste, those who aggregate food, those who distribute food, those who sell food, do we really have food insecurity? Do we? Do we know whether or not we have food insecurity? Or are we just not good stewards over the food that we have and the system that needs better coordination? Food insecurity versus nutrition insecurity. At the Food Trust, we draw a clear distinction between food security and nutrition security. Food security asks this question: do we have enough food to eat? You see that in the work of our food banks, our food pantries, what we refer to as emergency food. Nutrition security asks a very different question. Nutrition security asks the question, do we have enough healthy food, not just to live, but to thrive? Food that supports our health, fits our culture and budget, and that people know how to prepare the healthy food that is available. Nutrition security, when you really think carefully about it, nutrition security is what stands between hunger and health. And it should be the floor, nutrition security should be the floor and not the ceiling of our public health goals. That matters here in Pennsylvania. About 1/3 of adults and nearly 1 in 5 children live in Pennsylvania with obesity and higher rates in Black and brown communities. We're dying earlier. And while these numbers are astounding, they're not too much better in our majority communities as well. This is a United States problem. Diet plays a central role in long-term health and longevity. And so we're serious about the outcomes associated with it. This within an environment where we recently experienced with President Trump's, as he calls it, his one big beautiful bill, eliminated $540 million annually that was invested in nutrition security, gone. I'm not talking about a cut in terms of reduction in money. I'm talking eliminated, poof, gone. Pennsylvania got about $30 million of those resources. Poof, gone after the end of this current fiscal year. So this is really an important issue for us. And so for us, the question is not whether or not the need exists, but how do we build systems and solutions that can withstand the next storm in terms of our system before it goes away. At the Food Trust, this is where our work comes in. We work across a food ecosystem. We connect farmers and retailers and schools and policymakers and communities to make nutritious food more accessible, more affordable, and more familiar. Food Bucks is Pennsylvania's nutrition incentive program. Families using SNAP earn additional dollars to spend on fruits and vegetables where they already shop. They don't have to go anywhere special. They go where they already shop to get resources with these additional dollars. This year, this current fiscal year, marks a major milestone for the Commonwealth. A $2 million state investment to expand Food Bucks statewide was made by this administration. And for the first time, Food Bucks are in the state budget, affirming what data already shows: better health for families, stronger sales for farmers and retailers, and lower long-term health care costs. There's a direct connection between nutrition security, our health, and health care costs. In Pennsylvania, we have the Pennsylvania Fresh Food Financing Initiative, which supports small and independent food businesses in communities lacking access to healthy food. Since 2018, we have invested, the Food Trust has invested $4 million in 92 retailers across 26 counties, which leverage nearly $49 million in total development. But demand far exceeds the funding. What we are able to support with the numbers I just showed represents a mere 5%. We have our Pennsylvania Farm to School Network, which the Food Trust coordinates across the entire Commonwealth, which connects schools, early care providers, farmers, and agencies across all 67 counties. Farm to School improves student nutrition, teaches young people where their food comes from, teaches them how to grow it, and it supports their ability to have a healthy life. So this work matters, and much of it was supported by SNAP-Ed, SNAP Education. Its elimination puts this infrastructure at risk and impacts our ability to thrive. So just as some of us may take some of these things for granted as it relates to First Amendment rights, which we have to fight for as if it were 60, 70, 80 years ago, and other things, we'll look up and not have the resources that we need to teach people how to eat healthy and sustain their lives. So I want to thank Secretary Redding and the Department of Ag and his team for all of your work and your leadership, and for creating space for organizations like my own to learn across these borders and boundaries. And so there's real value in sharing what works, especially when it comes to local supply chains and public investment. So I'm going to end with saying that if we strengthen every link in the food system, from farms to families, we don't have to fight hunger. We build health, dignity, and a future where every Pennsylvanian can thrive. And so together, let's build what lasts. Thank you.
take a drink of water. So my Morehouse brother, as you were speaking, I was steady over here deleting all these food apps, so thank you. I think my husband thanks you too, my wallet thanks you, and I did get rid of Instacart because guess what? A lot of things that you were saying is definitely correct. And I think because of the convenience, the other flip side of this, my union people will be happy because it's eliminating jobs for the convenience. There's times that I'm always in a hurry trying to go to CVS to get products. There's times that I just want to have just a decent conversation with somebody, but everything is automated for every purchase that you're doing. Imagine when you're now going to some of your grocery stores, especially the first one I saw was Giant, and you see a robot in the middle of the aisle yelling, saying that there's a spill on aisle 4, when before somebody would come and clean it up. So I just wanted to say to you, Mark, just thank you for just being eye-opening and just having these conversation. And I think in these rooms, and I know the next panel has to come up next. Okay, we're gonna do some questions. Okay, y'all know how to get a politician quiet. So literally, do this. I think also we need to clear up the myth. I think one of the other myths is the fact that it's expensive to eat healthy, but it's more expensive to eat junk, right? I don't even think people realize that, but once you start, it starts to add up. Are there any questions for our panelists? Don't make me call y'all out. Any questions for our panelists? Brother Stan, you can always go. Go ahead, Brother Stan.
Well, I wanted to.
You got to go up. You want to hit the button, Stan?
That's what I was trying to do.
There it is.
Okay, just thank you very much.
Okay.
I just wanted to ask both Dr. Green and Mark from their perspectives. I get a lot of credit for all of this, but the people behind the scenes that are more brilliant than me, like Dr. Green and Mark, I go to get clarity on what to do and how to do it, and even which bases to touch. So I wanted to ask Dr. Green to just a little bit more to talk about the MOUs that we did with the Nigerian universities, what we're trying to do with Penn State and in Liberia, because that's one of the models that we may be able to use going forward to make the further connection. If the Penn State is one of the best land-grant colleges in the United States of America, how do we get it to Ghana? How do we get it to Liberia? So that was one question for Dr. Green to respond to. And also for Mark, I certainly appreciate him coming here because growing up in North Philly, Rep, I can take you to places now that people waiting for the food people to come or find to go to it, And we are certainly blessed to be able to go get a meal and to throw stuff away. But listen, some of the things you can see walking streets in North Philly and other areas, it could be painful. And that's one of the things I want to thank Gaston and Akana and Vofi that we're trying to clean up in Africatown. That's what it means for us to do it. So Mark, just to go back a little bit, and how do we get our community people engaged in getting better access to you? At least, I know the money might be short, but the knowledge that you have to help us to put it together. I mean, I know everybody running around, trying to figure out how to do it. I'm saying, why? This guy knows how to, that's what he does, statewide. You know what I mean? So let me stop there and ask both of you to share with us a little bit.
So I'm going to start from the perspective of the African Union's 2063 plan. And I'm looking at that because it's many of the fastest growing economies in the world are on the continent. And I see my boss walking in, so I'm gonna have to pause in a sec. What I think, when touching on what Mark was describing, we're talking about food systems. When you're talking about food systems, you're talking about infrastructure. When we're talking about infrastructure, to be able to produce more food, nutrient-dense, affordable food, we're talking about the ability to connect university partners, and I'm gonna stay there, with each other, both in the United States and abroad. And so I'm just gonna do a quick example. When we're talking about urban agriculture, we're talking about something very unique, right? Access to energy, waste management, food processing, right? All of those are considerable elements that require a very specific and strategic investment of agriculture knowledge and engineering knowledge, including data sciences, AI-driven solutions, et cetera. So when I'm thinking about, as an example of what we did in the past, today's form of setting up a food system hub, processing hubs across the world, if you said to me that, hey, we wanted to look at ECOWAS, and you do this by regions, we're going to look at the ECOWAS, and we're going to look at Ghana, and we're going to look at the university in Ghana that's responsible for sustainability. Is it Samoa up in the Northeast? So I tend to do my homework, all right? And so you would look at a Penn State with that university, with a Tuskegee to create cold storage and energy solutions. So those types of relationships would build the systems where you have agriculture institutions and you have engineering institutions working together. Same thing for those partners if you wanted to look at MENA, right? And we say Cairo University would partner with a Penn State or with one of our Howard University, or you just look at a variety of ways to create a transatlantic hub for processing, for waste minimization, and for energy production. And so, Stan, I'm hoping that that speaks to your question in terms of everything is driven by a plan. You fail to plan, you plan to fail. And so having that AU 2063, we have our own plans here in the United States. People have plans for driving economies. Without energy, without the processing infrastructure, without the waste management infrastructure, it's very hard to talk about creating viable opportunities to produce the type of food that can influence the brain development of a child. Let me always go back to what's important to me. The opportunity of a child to reach their full potential because they had enough nutrient-dense food over the most critical points of their development. So again, there are global partnerships that we're talking about that we can explore. A lot of this is at the exploration phase. We have subject matter experts in Pennsylvania that can help with this. So that's where the urban ag community is really looking at how can we drive what's happening in cities in Pennsylvania, in the United States, and then around the world.
Thank you. So let me just start by saying, I'm one person. I lead an organization, but I have an amazing team around me. I have subject matter experts who have deep knowledge and experience and training and are credentialed in their respective areas. Two of which are here with me today, and that's Julia Koprick. Julia, raise your hand. And Julia is our expert on what we refer to as incentives, and so food is medicine, and she's our representative on the National Produce Prescription Collaborative. And then we have next to her Lauren Rossi, who runs our Farm to School network here across Pennsylvania. And so the tentacles of the Food Trust extend out into the communities that we work in through the team and the staff that we deploy. I made reference to the $30 million that the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania received from the $530 million federally that was invested overall in I'll call it nutrition education now as opposed to SNAP Ed. In this political environment, in my work, it's not always good to use the term SNAP Ed any longer. But not only does that limit our ability, Stan, to do what you are raising in your question in terms of how do we touch communities that we serve and work in at a deeper level and a more expanded level to give them the knowledge and information and power needed to live a more healthy life and know how to shop healthy and prepare healthy foods. The impact of that $30 million that was cut for Pennsylvania also results in about 250 jobs that are cut, not just within any one organization, but across the Commonwealth. So one of the things that we hope will happen, or there are a few things that we hope will happen to address that, right? To get at the heart of your question. One, again, we praise both the House and the Senate at the state level for the leadership that they provided, the ability to work together to support food bucks in this current budget. We would humbly request that commitment continues in the next budget cycle that is underway right now. My organization and others are working with our lawmakers and with our governor's office to promote that. We're doing the same thing at the local level in the city of Philadelphia. And we will also hope that with the elimination of SNAP Ed funding, that while this next budget process, the FY27 budget process is underway, that there will also be a commitment for some level of investment in nutrition education so that we don't have to come out of every community that we're doing that work in, but can partner with other organizations and philanthropy and others who are making investment so that we can, so that we can continue to maintain a presence while we come out and show up in the fall during the next election process in 2026 and then the next presidential election.
I'm a little excited right now. This is my first time doing this. I have the honor of really talking to you guys briefly, and I'm going to pass the mic to our Secretary, Russell Redding. Let me tell y'all why he's bad. He has been here under a lot of governors, but I can honestly say he is so brilliant and so passionate about this craft that he came to my hood in Germantown and he told the neighbors, "What do you mean you came to Rep. Parker and asked Representative Parker for $20,000? Do you know Representative Parker votes on a $54 billion budget? I'm the secretary of all these counties. How you gonna do that? I'm here. You need to be asking for more." I said, yes, yes, yes. So he literally educates individuals in urban areas who are very nervous and intimidated to apply for grants and had no idea what was involved, what's in store. And then he said, if something happens, we got a team that can assist you. So I had to personally say, thank you, thank you, thank you, Secretary Redding. Thank you for always showing up. Thank you, and we love you. Giving me a great pleasure and honor to welcome our Secretary of Ag, Secretary Redding. Thank you, Secretary.
Hey, Representative, thank you. I'll take bad as good. Is that what that means, right? If you're bad, you're good? That's right. Thank you. You're welcome. What an honor to be here. Just wanted to welcome all to the Farm Show and the 110th anniversary. And I always think it's important because as I listen to some of the conversation, I know it's a bit, always makes me a bit nervous when I walk into a room and there are conversations occurring that span a pretty good distance between sort of international development and things as simple as feeding people in our community, right? And there's a lot happening in that space, and I take that from our two distinguished panelists here. But also just want to say that's all inside of what we do and try to do inside of the Farm Show, right? I'm always amazed the conversations that are here. Some of you were with us yesterday in the international business reception and meeting, and we had the governor here today, and you talk about the future, and you're talking about investments. At the end of the day, there are two things that stand out from Farm Show. One is regardless of the community and regardless of the project, it's about investment, right? That somebody has to invest in it, right? And that's either things that we ask our government to do, it's what we ask our private partners to do, it's what we do in our own communities. And the other is about relationships, and the things that we need to do are found inside a relationship. So the story that Parker tells is a true story, is that we could go for a very long time into communities and talk about certain things that the department could do, and I think almost the state could do, and they were fairly limited, to be very honest about it. We could talk about food assistance. We could talk about the things that we had in the charitable column and how do we make that available. That never felt right, and it never felt fair. And thanks to Senator Street and Representative Burgos, Representative Parker, they, by the way, are prime sponsors of pieces that formed our Pennsylvania Farm Bill. And I'm proud of that. because they ended up touching both of those points of both investments and relationships. And we can go into communities and talk about, well, how do you get a water line for that community garden from the street to the garden, right? Sounds simple until you start taking on city government, until you try to find a way to get somebody to pay for that line, as one example. And we did that across the state. I think we've done 300 and some urban ag projects now that are much in that same vein. But we've done that in other ways as well. So it's about the relationships we have, the diversity, certainly the diversity of our agricultural community, but also the diversity of the things that we see here and we celebrate during this week of Farm Show that we want to elevate. This is not about, this isn't a capstone to anything. This is about revealing to the world sort of the things that we do inside agriculture. It's feeding people, it's bringing them together, it's allowing them to sort of explore and be inquisitive and ask all those types of questions that we want people to ask about what is that and what do we do and who is that. But ultimately, that helps us as a Commonwealth, I think, both recognize the extraordinary assets that we have. And part of those assets is certainly our agricultural community. The asset of being in a neighborhood with 30 million people is important. The asset of having 3 ports that link us to parts of the world is an asset. The assets of the diversity of agriculture in Pennsylvania is amazing. It's a differentiator for us, and we see that particularly in these times when we're challenged. And I'll just close out to say that we also recognize that, and I think Mark was alluding to this in terms of some of the policy pieces. I do believe that we have to, as painful as the experience of the last couple of months have been around food and food assistance and food and nutrition, is there is a wake-up call for all of us in that. There's a wake-up call in there. And the governor frequently says our values haven't changed, and maybe Washington has and parts of the world have, but our values have not changed. And I take strength from that. I believe strongly that there's an amazing amount of work yet to do. There are beautiful sort of relationships that have been established and partnerships that have been formed. There are discoveries made in the last 3 or 4 months around food and nutrition that didn't exist before for whatever reason. And now we've got to sort of recommit ourselves to sort of engage in these very, very basic conversation about values. What are those values? What do you believe? What do you stand for? And I think in this state, I'm particularly proud of this, is agriculture, our food system, our people, our diversity are important to us. How do we articulate that, and how do we build those relationships, and how do we make that investment across both our state, but also recognize that our federal government and our delegation and our partners also have an obligation. It's important to us, right? Because you cannot do anything in those communities if people are hungry. Let's face it. The only thing you're worried about at the moment is how do you feed yourself and your family, and that's your preoccupation. Then all of the energy goes into that. So I close there to say that I think that we have a lot of momentum. We've seen in our own state legislature leadership around the food, nutrition, the farm bill. We've seen the governor sort of step into that in a significant way. And now as we get on the cusp of the fiscal year 27 budget, we've got to make the argument about their very, very direct investments in our community. And then we'll build those relationships and we'll build that capacity. So thank you for being here. It's an honor always to be with you. I appreciate Dr. Green, and every once in a while I've got to hear her a couple of times to understand completely how, just to say, I mean, she's got this great mind, and these things like fit differently together. But you've got a vision for that, and that's what I really appreciate. Very much appreciate that, and that's what we've tried to do in the department, is to be creative, you know, go in these new directions where we have folks who have the talents to take us there as well. But just want to close with a thanks to Rep. Parker. Thank you for what you do. Ag Committee fan, amazing sort of advocate for you and for us, and will take us anywhere in those communities I'll go. I mean, she's taken me places where I would never like just naturally go there, but there's somebody in that community that she wants me to meet. has got a story. It's got a piece of this amazing sort of story that we get a chance to tell. So thank you for what you do. It's an honor to be with you today. Thanks.
Thank you. So before the secretary goes out, we're going to grab Thomas, the ambassador, Mr. Brother Stan, Dave, and we're going to grab a fit. Of course, you too. Hold on. Come on, Marks. Come on, Brother Hands. All of our panelists.
Is everyone here, Aisha? So we have Christina Watson, Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture, International Ag. We already heard from Secretary Redding. David Brill, Department of Community and Economic Development. Thomas Slam Dunk Young from Philadelphia World Trade Center. Is Florence joining us? Okay, and Florence is joining us too. I know y'all thrown off guard because politicians on time, but that's Aisha. Aisha is not playing any games with me today. What you need me to do, Aisha? Keep going? Okay, all right. So let me scratch this person off because we already did our homework. We good? Everybody good? Okay. Okay. He doesn't know I'm about to do this, but I think he might be the youngest brother on the panel. So I was going to bring up my brother, Thomas Slam Dunk Young. Since he is the young brother on the panel, I don't want to be disrespectful to your, okay, but he's the young brother, and I got to always let them know that we do believe in passing the torch and making sure that individuals in his age bracket are recognized and that we don't take them for granted and that we are proud of what they are doing. I have seen this young man in his single days, now in his married days, and being a father, and his lovely wife was on our staff. And when I tell you this couple is doing some amazing and brilliant things, this is my first time being a moderator with him. So I did give him an alley-oop by calling him Slam Dunk. Do a hashtag for that, because when you have a brother who is doing something on a world international stage and he looks like us at his age, first of all, should be applauded. Because in his lane, there is no box, and he's making it for himself, and he is bringing a lot of people with him. So it does give me great pleasure to bring up Mr. Thomas Slam Dunk Young, who is going to give us some greetings and just share why are you here and what does this role that you're currently doing mean in this year of 250.
tell you what, I'm not sure how I follow that up with that type of introduction. Thank you, Representative Parker, for that wonderful introduction. And thank you all for being here today. Before I get started, I would like to just give some acknowledgement and a couple thank yous that are out in the crowd right now. First and foremost, I would like to give a special acknowledgement to His Excellency, Ambassador Victor Smith, for being here today. Your presence here today really shows what it means to work on a partnership between our Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and your country in Ghana as well. So thank you for being here today. I'd also like to acknowledge Secretary Redding and his team, Dr. Green, and others that are here today from the Department of Ag. They do such a wonderful job day in and day out in one of our most profitable and one of our primary sectors here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. They make sure that day in and day out the opportunities are seen, opportunities are felt, and they follow up on what they do. Also want to give a special thank you and shout out to Senator Street, his team, Aisha, Lisa, and others that are here today for giving me the opportunity to speak and be in front of you today to talk about the World Trade Center Greater Philadelphia. Also, David Brill, who's part of our panel. I will give a special shout out to all of our panelists, David Brill, we have Florence, and others that are on our panel today, because what we do together really resonates across the entire Commonwealth, and we have to make sure that as we move into the future, especially when you hear about 2026 and all of the great things that are happening in our Commonwealth, we have to make sure that we're all working together to promote the Commonwealth, because at the end of the day, a rising tide will lift all boats, and we have to be that rising tide here in Pennsylvania. So thank you all for being here today. So in case you all don't know about the World Trade Center, I am Thomas Young, the President and CEO of the World Trade Center of Greater Philadelphia. And if you don't know, there are over 300 World Trade Centers in over 90 countries around the world. We work closely, specifically with the World Trade Center in Harrisburg and the World Trade Center of Pittsburgh. But we also work with our REN network, which is our regional export network that we partner with the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and Business PA with David Brill to make sure that the entire Commonwealth has accessibility to global trade. And one of the ways that we are making sure that we have the opportunity for global trade and international business for our local business community is we won a bid back in 2024, which I was on my job for 6 months. My board thought that I was crazy for going after this bid, but for me, if it's anything that I saw with the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and the city of Philadelphia is that we have an opportunity in 2026 to really go global. When we're talking about all of the great things that are going on in 2026 in Philadelphia, when we're saying that we have the FIFA World Cup that will be coming to Philadelphia, and Mr. Ambassador, we will be talking to you, obviously, about inviting the President and Vice President to Philadelphia for the Ghana match on June 27th. I was in Ghana back in February, and I met with Her Majesty Vice President, and I'll tell you that the words that she gave to me was, it's great that you want American companies to come to Ghana, but we need Ghanaian companies to come to Philadelphia as well. And that's the thing that I'm looking forward to, is inviting the President and Vice President along with those businesses to come to Philadelphia in June, not only to enjoy the great culture and the great sports and tourism that we have with FIFA World Cup being in Philadelphia, but to also talk to our business leaders and our business community about how we can do better business, how we can work on partnerships, how we can work on joint ventures, and how we can make sure that trade goes back and forth so that when ships are leaving Philadelphia's port to go to Ghana, they're filled. When they're coming from Ghana's port to come back to Philadelphia, they're filled as well, so that we are making sure that the economy is booming on both sides of the Atlantic Ocean. So I very much look forward to that and working with you on that. I also want to talk about our Global Business Forum that we will be hosting in Philadelphia in April of 2026 of this year, which it is where we bring all 300 plus World Trade Centers to Philadelphia as the host city for those World Trade Centers to bring their investors and bring their business leaders to Philadelphia to see if Philadelphia and Pennsylvania, because again, we're working with Harrisburg and Pittsburgh to bring all of our businesses across the Commonwealth to Philadelphia for this event. And for them to see if this is a place that they want to invest in or if this is a place that they want to do business in. And some of the primary sectors that we're focused on are primary sectors that we have here in Pennsylvania. So when we're talking about life sciences, when we're talking about manufacturing, higher education, real estate, technology and innovation, and most importantly, in my opinion, food and agriculture, these are the sectors that we have to present to the rest of the world on why the rest of the world want to be in Philadelphia and Pennsylvania. And I'll tell you what, and I'm not saying this just because I'm a Philadelphian, but I'm going to say this. I believe that there is no other city in the world that's like Philadelphia. And what I mean is that there is no other city that you can go to where you can get the rich history of how our country got started. And we are celebrating America's 250th birthday in America on July 4th in Philadelphia for this exact reason. But then you can get on a train or drive a car, and you can go an hour and a half to 2 hours north and visit one of the most famous cities in the world and the financial capital of the world in New York City. Get back in the car and get back on that train, come back to Philadelphia and go an hour and a half or 2 hours south and see how our political and our government is run in our United States here today. But then come back to Philadelphia, and I will put our restaurant scene up against any restaurant scene across America. We were recently awarded 3 restaurants had received a Michelin star this year from Philadelphia, one of them being a black-owned restaurant called Friday, Saturday, and Sunday that I very much frequent and I enjoy a lot. So understanding that when you talk about the rich history, when you talk about culture, when you talk about the presence, when you talk about all the great attributes that it takes to be a great city in a country like America, Philadelphia is one of the places that we like to talk about. And if that's not enough for you, I will also say that one of our primary and keynote speakers who will be joining us, and I'm proud to announce, will be Julius Dr. J. Irvin. He will be joining us for a fireside chat because most people don't know that back in the 70s, the 60s and 70s, he heavily invested in Coca-Cola Bottling Company in Philadelphia, and he helped Coca-Cola take off to heights that they never knew that they could go to. So he will be in Philadelphia during this event to talk about his experience as an investor in a Philadelphia manufacturing company, but to also talk about plans for the future and what he plans on doing for the future and how Philadelphia fits into the future of being a globalized city. I also want to talk about how we want to crisscross the state, again, to bring businesses from across the Commonwealth to Philadelphia for this opportunity for expansion. We're looking to bring at least 200 of our local businesses to Philadelphia for this event. Finally, I will say that's not where we stop. All of that is great, but that is just the launching pad for what we really want to do. When we're talking about the Post-Global Business Forum, we want to make sure that our businesses have that opportunity to have that business-to-business matchmaking, but to also have the opportunity to be educated in business marketplaces around the world that is of their interest. When we're talking about doing international business, international controls, international finance, we want to make sure that people understand that the World Trade Center of Greater Philadelphia, the World Trade Center of Harrisburg, and the World Trade Center of Pittsburgh are one-stop shops to help you through all of these opportunities. So I thank you again, and finally, again, FIFA, using this to promote, inviting, again, the president of Ghana, the president of Ivory Coast, which is another country that is having games here in Philadelphia. And as Stan and others and the senator always reminds us, we are the leading city when it comes to importing cocoa from the Ivory Coast. And guess what? We have two matches from the Ivory Coast as well as some of our Caribbean countries as well, like Haiti and Curacao. So understand the opportunity and the platform that Philadelphia has in 2026. The World Trade Center would do our part to make sure that we are advancing the business conversation that is going on in Philadelphia. We understand the tourism, we understand the sports portion of it, but let's begin to understand the business opportunity that we have to show off our city, to show off our Commonwealth to the rest of the world. Thank you for all your time, and I look forward to having some conversations with you in the future.
I mean, it's a hot mic. This brother broke it down. You good, bro? All right. I'm gonna make sure you didn't miss nothing. All right now. Well, since you dropped the mic, let's keep it on the task and the theme of international agriculture. If Miss Christina Watson can bring us some gems, since we're on this whole theme of international. Thank you so much, Christina.
Good afternoon, everybody. Again, I'm Christina Watson. I'm the Agricultural Trade Specialist, aka the international person for the PA Department of Agriculture. Welcome to the 110th Farm Show. We're happy to see you all here. Ambassador, we're glad that you're here as well. It's always fun for me to come to the Farm Show. Back in the Stone Ages, when I was in high school, I used to show here and show sheep, and so it's fun for me to walk around and see the kids showing and know that now I'm at the Department of Agriculture, you know, kind of working to help support agriculture along with our wonderful team. And so thank you for coming today. And for some of you, I know you've been here, you were here yesterday too for our international events. And you know, it's such a great place to come to learn about agriculture. And last night we had approximately 38 countries come to the Pennsylvania Farm Show to see the farm show and to learn about Pennsylvania agriculture. And like the secretary was talking about, that tells us something about the quality of the things that we do here in Pennsylvania. So I'll take a few minutes to share some gems about our agricultural trade program. So what we do is we try to create and expand trade opportunities for Pennsylvania agricultural companies. So, you know, anything from farmers who might be interested in exporting to food companies, beverage companies, processors, manufacturers, and even forest products. And so we try to help create opportunity. And one of the ways we do that is by building relationships with those not only in the industry, but those interested in the industry, and looking for ways to collaborate. So you may wonder, what does Pennsylvania's exports look like? We export approximately $3.5 billion in ag products. It goes up to over $4 billion when you include forest products. Our top export countries are Canada, Mexico, the Netherlands, Dominican Republic, and the UK. And so, you know, we're trying to support that and to grow that number. And how do we do that? Well, we do a couple different things. So we work with partners, whether it's the World Trade Centers, whether it's Food Export Northeast that helps Pennsylvania companies export their products, the U.S. Commercial Service, anything that we can do to help promote our products. We also help take leads from foreign buyers to Pennsylvania companies, ag companies that are interested in exporting. So for example, if we get an inquiry from Singapore and they're looking to buy X product, then we could reach out to Pennsylvania companies that might have those products available. We also host events. So last night we hosted a reception for foreign government officials, but we host international dignitaries, business delegations that are looking to either purchase Pennsylvania products or learn more about our institutions or our agricultural industry. We also participate in trade missions. 2 years ago, the secretary led a delegation to Lithuania. Last year, I went to Thailand. The secretary went to Canada. And so we'll see what 2026 brings and what we might wind up doing in 2026. We also participate in trade events, so trade shows that happen. We also work with our partners like Food Export that participates and provides opportunity for our companies to participate in trade shows across the United States and around the world. We also share information with our stakeholders, so letting folks not only within the immediate agriculture industry, but also like the ancillary industries about what we're doing in agriculture and the opportunities that are available. And then one of the biggest things, I'm teeing up David Briel here, is we also work with our partners at the Department of Community and Economic Development on direct investment involving agriculture. So if a foreign company is interested in investing in Pennsylvania in agriculture, then we're going to be able to be there and be helpful as well. And then, the final thing I'll just mention is, the secretary really values, as I know many of you know, relationships and building community. And so we do that within the agricultural trade program as well. And, some of you in this room, we've had conversations about how do we connect our foreign government partners with institutions and groups within Pennsylvania that have similar mutual interests so that they can work together, to reach whatever potential that they're looking for. So hopefully that provides you with a little bit of a snapshot of what we do at the Department of Agriculture in the international space, not just trade, but trade is definitely a very big part of it. And I think at the end of the day, our goal is to help promote Pennsylvania companies at home and abroad, and make sure that our industry is strong, and where we can to support and share our knowledge with others. So thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions after all the panelists speak.
Thank you. Are you going to introduce him? Yeah. All right. Come on up again, sisters. All right. I got the look. I knew I had to bring you up. Come on up here.
Hello again. Again, my name is Florence Dawson-Hart. I'm with the U.S. Ghana Chamber of Commerce. I agreed to be on the panel. I was very excited to be on until I found out that we have other dignitaries from Ghana who were going to come. So rather than make remarks, I will make a brief introductory statement about our upcoming trade mission, and then cede the rest of my speaking time to our dignitaries from Ghana, who I think will do a much better job of explaining the opportunities that are in Ghana. So many of you know that, may or may not know, we have a big investment, U.S. Ghana Investor Forum coming up tomorrow in Philadelphia. We're very excited about that because for the first time, when we put out the information for this event, we were sold out in less than 3 days. And that is the energy that is propelling all the work that we have done, not just with the U.S. Ghana Chamber of Commerce, but with all of the partners that have helped us from our day one people. David and his organization, U.S. Commercial Service, we work with World Trade Center. We have a trade mission that is going to Ghana in June, 30th May, but technically June 1st, right, is when it starts to Ghana, and to the 6th. We want to get all of that done before all of the excitement starts with the world trade. I had the opportunity to go somewhere, I think 2 weeks ago, and I was having a lot of fun and thinking, oh my God, isn't it nice to have a good work-life balance? Until I was reminded that all the things that we do that we don't particularly enjoy, which is like work, those are the things that help pay for all the exciting things that we want to do. So we don't want to have too much fun with the World Cup and forget about business. And so the dates are June 1st to the 5th. We will share more information as the time goes on. So that is the thing. The fact that we were able to bring 3 cabinet ministers to the event tomorrow, if it doesn't tell you Ghana is serious about doing business with Pennsylvania, then I don't know what will. And so we are very, very excited about that. And to that end, I have agriculture is super important to Ghana. We're doing the 24-hour initiative. Most of the things that we're trying to do depends on how well we do with agriculture. Most of the youth initiatives, businesses, agri-tech, and where in the nation do we have good agriculture, business practices, and technology? Pennsylvania. So we brought the ambassador from Ghana, who is seated right here, and we also have the person who is coming up to speak. His name is Dr. Peter Boama Otukono. He is in the office of the President of Ghana. and he's responsible for special initiatives for the president on agriculture. And so I thought that he arrived yesterday night around 11, so he missed most of the events from yesterday. But we thought it was a good idea to just have him here to talk briefly about the opportunities and why I'm looking forward to when he's done. He'll blow you all away. And then I'm going to come back and then set up all of the follow-up meetings and stuff with our partners. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Otukono.
Thank you very much, Florence. Thank you very much, Florence. I think it's been a great pleasure being here at the Pennsylvania Farm Show. And the best part of the show has been the food. We've had so much to eat. And if you are not careful, I'm sure some of my colleagues will be sleeping through the discussions. But that's the thing about Agrek. It's about food and food and food. And let me thank the team for organizing this very wonderful event, and for the panelists that spoke earlier, and Representative Parker for leading these discussions, Dr. Green and Mark and co. Very insightful conversations. I'm a trained agriculturist, animal science by training, before I further moved into agroeconomics, so my PhD is in agroeconomics, and I'm a farmer myself, 360. I do all kinds of livestock, and I grow crops, and I grew up from the farm, and so when we talk about farming, we talk about food, I get so excited. I was very much excited about Mark's perspective on food security, because one of my research areas whilst I was doing my master's was to look at developing a fifth leg for food security. And so for those of us in academia, and I've taught in academia for a while too, for those of us in academia, when we talk about food security, we basically talk about having access to food, food being available, and talking about the nutrition of food, which we classify as utilization, then the sustainability of food. And so those four legs is what constitutes food security, even under the FAO Charter. So we are restricted somehow, but Representative Parker, you gave a very important angle that nobody's looking at, and from research is coming up, and I believe that the Food and Agriculture Organization would have to look at that as the fifth leg of food security, and that is convenience, because convenience is making a lot of people food insecure. The food could be affordable, it could be available, it could be highly nutritious, and it's always available, but they don't have access to it because it's not convenient. Lifestyles have changed. Yeah. People have moved to different classes of life, and they don't find certain foods convenient. They come from work, they are tired. They need something they can finish within 5 minutes and just take it in. And so that's the convenience bit, and it's very central to food security. And these are things that I think globally we should all be looking at. So Mark, I think it's an area that we all have to centralize and fix into the food security stream. So Ghana, we are happy to be here today because Ghana is the gateway to Africa, and we are the first country that attained independence in Ghana. But as fate will have it, Ghana's economy has picked up very significantly in the past 1 year. If you look at one of the best performing economies in the world, Ghana, in 2025, our currency is the best performing in the world. Our currency has appreciated almost about 46% in 1 year. That's most significant and historic. It has never happened before. And this is because we have a new government led by my boss, His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, who believes that the economic fundamentals of a country can only be changed and driven and accelerated through agriculture. And that is what is yielding all the good news that you see. And so the indicators have changed. Our economy is growing significantly beyond target for 2025. The data that was just brought out recently, in October alone, the economy grew by 3.8%, and agriculture contributed significantly. Industry grew about 3% as part of the broad economic growth. Inflation has moved from 54% to about 5.4% as at December, 5.4%. And so that is significant in achieving food security. But how have we come to this? In 2025, we launched a program we call the Agriculture for Economic Transformation Agenda. This agenda was an integrated agenda that carries 3 main pillars. Growing food for the table, feeding our people. So as Secretary Redden said, it all comes to food on the table. So if there's food on the table, there is peace. In fact, at home, when people are satisfied, there is peace. And I could see the colleagues I came with, when they got satisfied, they were peaceful. And so food is everything. And so we developed this program we call the Feed Ghana program. And this Feed Ghana program was looking at not only strengthening our food systems, but targeting the food the Ghanaian people eat. And so every Ghanaian household, every food we eat every single day has some significant food ingredients, 6 of them. So it's either rice, maize, soya, tomato, onion, and pepper. And so the Feed Ghana program was designed to focus on upscaling the production in these food crop areas. And so we have been able to significantly, within 1 year, make Ghana food sufficient in terms of maize or corn. And for those of you in the States, when we talk about corn, you talk about livestock. But in Ghana, it is directly on the table in our homes. It doesn't go to the livestock. Some goes to the livestock, but we compete with the livestock on the corn. And so if you are self-sufficient in producing corn, then it means that you've been able to feed over 35 million mouths a day. And you are also able to feed your livestock to be able to produce your protein needs, the eggs, and all that. Then we have soya bean, which also goes directly to the livestock. And so Ghana, we import about $500 million worth of poultry products every year before we took over. And so as part of the Feed Ghana program, we had to develop systems that can make us grow our own poultry. And guess what? Within 1 year, we had a glut of eggs in Ghana. Eggs were selling about 80 cedis per crate. As at last year, as an egg farmer, I was crying. It's now selling for 40 cedis, 50% less, 40 cedis per crate, because of the investment we made in growing corn and growing soya bean under the Feed Ghana program. And same applies to poultry. And so there are various initiatives that we put in place which require some investments. Again, all these plans, if you don't have private capital coming into space, you are joking. And that's where business comes in, because government cannot sustain this. And so we made a large cry for private investment. And that is why, out of the ingenuity of the president, my office was established. So I'm the presidential advisor on agric and agribusiness, but I direct presidential initiatives in agric and agribusiness. And what I do is that I facilitate and coordinate private investment into the special areas of the president's interest. And so that's why I find myself here. And so we do B2B arrangements, we do B2G arrangements to support those specific investments into these areas that I'm talking about. And so under this Feed Ghana program, there are some specific initiatives that we are doing that require some private investments and sometimes some J2G arrangements. For example, urban agriculture. And so Dr. Green spoke about urban agriculture. We have something exciting on urban agriculture. And you and I would agree that even agriculture in US is suffering from, you know, the rural-urban migration, and that most farms now are being handled by the aged. And so the farmer age in most of the areas are above 60 because the young people are coming into the area. But they have some experience that could be tapped into to help produce the food. And so urban agriculture becomes very key. And so we have this initiative we call the Urban Agriculture and Home Gardening Initiative, which is very big, which we are looking for partners to support and see how we can introduce modern agriculture into the space. And I was excited again, Dr. Green, when you spoke about hydroponics and the fact that you are trying that at home. And we have to go beyond that. These are things that people can learn and do in their backyards. So hydroponics, aeroponics, aquaponics, and all these technologies are simple, basic technologies that anybody could try in their homes, and they will produce their own vegetables and make them food secure. And so these are things that we are upscaling, providing starter kits to households, to do that. Then beyond that, again, you spoke about children, because we believe that if we do not inculcate the interest in agriculture in our young people, then we would be joking. There would continue to be the shift where the young people will not be interested in agriculture again, because the technology is taking over. They are making quick money from trade and other things, and so nobody is interested in agriculture. And so we have this program we call the School Farm Initiative, which the president has started. And under the School Farm Initiative, what we are doing is that, my time? Sorry, I mean, I can talk a lot. If you give me the whole day, I'll just be talking. Forgive me. Forgive me. And so I'll quickly wrap that up. And so the School Farm Initiative, for example, is getting all schools, secondary schools in Ghana to cultivate some crop or some animal, livestock, aquaculture, one way or the other. So that from school, irrespective of the school and the program that you studied, you would have some experience, skill, interest in agriculture. And this is one big program that we are looking for support. But most importantly, the investor will be looking for return. So which areas are available that I can readily bring to you? For you in Pennsylvania, as Mr. Stan said, senior citizen mentioned earlier, cocoa is very important. And Ghana is the #1 cocoa producer. Ourselves and Ivory Coast produce 60% of the world's cocoa. Indeed, there is a major program that the president has initiated. We seek to develop 200,000 new hectares of cocoa, and we are looking for private partnership and private investment into the development of the premium cocoa, as we are known for, to develop in Ghana. So any investor who is holding private capital and is interested in investing in cocoa, which I know is very important to you, you come to Ghana. In my office, we'll develop the program for you, and you can easily invest in the production of the 200,000 hectares of cocoa. We believe that will bring about 1 million metric tons more of cocoa to our market. We are doing same in palm oil, we are doing same in coconuts, and we are doing same in coffee. And so these are opportunities that are available that you can invest in. And if you think agriculture investment, I think the place to come is Ghana, because Ghana is the gateway to Africa, and we have a market that can feed 1.2 million people. Everybody buys from Ghana. So you invest in Ghana, you invest in Africa, you invest in 1.2 million people, not the 35 million population in Ghana. Thank you very much.
Let me just say this, bruh. I never thought I would meet a man that can talk more than Senator Street. And I can say that because I've known Senator Street before he was a senator. Shout out to Senator Street for giving me the honor and the pleasure for being here in his place, to his awesome staff who are doing all of this. But brother, I love you, but whew, you got me. Next up, I gotta bring up my man, David. Come on, Dave. You still got it in you? Come on, Dave. I know that's a tough act to follow, David, but I know you can dig deep. Come on, David. And for those, when you read this clear, Department of Community and Economic Development. So David always brings some gems that we always need to hear, and he brings us knowledge and always learning. So I tell people all the time, this is the time for politicians that we always are telling people and stressing people to make sure you get your information in order, because next month, we are back in budget. So I just gave you that plug to get stuff rolling for your ass. Don't start asking me on March 1st. I told you to do it at the end of this month, right? Decency and order. Come on, Dave.
Yeah, thank you. And the key here is not to get the tap. So thank you, first of all, to Senator Street's team here, Aisha, Lisa. Thank you for the organization today to be here, and of course, for the overall Farm Show organization, I have to thank Christina, we did the event yesterday. That was quite think she's on day 4, looking forward to day 5, 6, and 7, and, and exiting on day 7 soon thereafter. So my agency, Business PA, so I'm in charge of international trade and investment. I'm here with my colleague Alex Medeiros, is here in the back. So our goals are to work in helping Pennsylvania companies export. We do that through working with a group of international representatives, but more importantly, our local partners, our regional partners, represented here by the World Trade Center of Greater Philadelphia. Thomas Young, kind of a slam dunk. That's the first time I ever heard a slam dunk. Formalized slam dunk. It's like layup Denzel over here. Okay. So they are there to help companies to come into the system and export. These are for companies of all sizes. Our goal is to work with small and medium-sized companies primarily. Now, our office does ag and beyond. We do every industry. We do have target industries, certainly, as outlined by the governor, but our goal is to work with all companies to help them export more and thereby create job opportunities for Pennsylvania residents. That's the overriding goal. Now, we also work on international investment. Christina had mentioned we work to help food and ag companies locate here in Pennsylvania. Now, we do this, again, across industries, but ag is always a big part of the Pennsylvania playbook. So that's our second large responsibility, is working to bring international companies to invest in Pennsylvania, put their money here, create jobs, create opportunities for Pennsylvania residents. And then also we work internationally to work with our international partners around the states, such as the Ghana Chamber, represented by Florence. Of course, we're very honored today to have the ambassador, Mr. Smith, here. Thank you very much for your presence. And Peter's coming all the way from Accra. And the whole team here from Ghana. We certainly welcome you here to the farm show, and hopefully you had some good times, enough time to go see the farm show in its entirety and learn about everything from, I know you were looking at from fertilizer to big cows to, yeah, exactly. So our, just one program I wanted to talk about is a little beyond the traditional investment and trade piece. It actually combines both. We have something called the Strategic Partnership Program. These are for smaller companies to find partners worldwide. Alex is running that program, so he can tell you more. Again, this is for companies and PA companies to find partners overseas, international companies to find partners here. So, this is a program which we're just kicking off now. You can see more about it on our website. We can talk about it after this. And Alex can give you all the ins and outs of the program. If there's a smaller company here that's looking for an international partner, let us know, and we certainly look forward to working with you. Just something that Stan had said, just to give you a little facts and figures here. So we are the 18th largest economy in the world overall. And so Pennsylvania in itself is a G20 country. Just to show the size of the Pennsylvania economy is that big, right? We're basically bigger than Turkey, bigger than Switzerland, bigger than Nigeria, bigger than Belgium. So Pennsylvania's economy, as you're here and you're thinking about opportunities with Ghana, I think it's important for you to realize the scope of how big Pennsylvania is as an economic player worldwide. And just to get one other facts and figure here, Christina had talked about our agricultural exports were 3 to 4 billion, right? 4 billion if you include hardwood. Now, Pennsylvania's total exports are about 59 billion in all things. So, that's a substantial piece, right? 59 billion. And we can, if anybody wants a very granular breakdown of that, as I see Denzel writing things down, I can certainly we can get you those facts and figures. Now, we do want to do more, certainly, with Africa. That's an area we'd like to do more. Just to give you our total trade with Ghana is about 136 million right now. Right, 136 million. 14 million we're exporting to you, and about 122 million you're bringing to us. Now, to Thomas's point, we want to see those things filled up on both ends. We need to export more. We need to create more partnerships with you, sort of get Pennsylvania products there, and also to build up that 122 million you're selling to us. So we look forward to that as this visit and the trade mission that Florence has introduced. This is an opportunity for us to do so. We also run a number of missions throughout the year. You're working with our partners such as the World Trade Center. We do Medica every year for medical device companies. Last year we also did the Paris Air Show for material companies selling to the aerospace market. We did a show in Mexico called Expo Pack for companies in the packaging business. So there are a lot of opportunities for Pennsylvania companies to go international, to find opportunity, and I look forward to meeting you and hearing more, but look forward to your questions. So thank you very much. And I didn't get the hook, so I missed it.
I'm laughing at David because he's not going to get the hook. We just passed y'all budget, so y'all fine. It's all good. Aisha, we okay for now? What you need me to quit? Sure. We definitely know we have a stellar panel here. And are there any dire questions that individuals want to ask? Well, do I need to remind some of y'all that we did pass a $50 billion budget? So, I mean, one of the light items is agriculture. So this would be your time to ask questions. If you have an urban garden, if you're interested, if there's some tools or things that you're thinking about, these are the expert and decision makers. Along with, we made sure the money was there. Now the rest is up to you. Yes, I see a hand. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Repeat the question. Say it again. You wanted to. Okay. Go ahead. You can, absolutely.
Okay, so I'll answer the question a bit. At the department, we've worked really hard to help, and particularly like federal governments who are interested in learning more about Pennsylvania agriculture to kind of get those resources. We often look at ourselves as like a networker. So we have folks working at the department on a variety of things, but it's not always what those in other countries, sometimes it's what they want to learn about, but a lot of times they want to connect with an academic institution, or they want to learn about how to, have better sustainability practices on the farm, or better management of water resources, et cetera. So what we've tried to do at the department is work with the partners, both in Pennsylvania and then those often foreign government partners, to try to help them connect. And so, that we believe there's a lot of value in creating those relationships and then letting them bloom and letting them grow and form like whatever directions that they need to do. And so I think we've been very successful with that globally. And we are, I sometimes every week it's a different country that has a question about something. And so, whether it is countries in Africa or countries in Asia, countries in Europe, et cetera, they can come to us and we can work to help make connections for them. And so we welcome that. And, we work closely with various countries over the course of a year to help them get the knowledge that they're looking for in their home country.
I'm sure if I stand there, maybe I'll take another 30 minutes. Real Parker doesn't want me to go there. Anyway, so one of the key things that I wanted to talk about was this particular aspect of the conversation, because I saw Dr. Green try to bring it up. In fact, I'm actually a failed prospective student for Penn State University because I recall I had applied sometime in my early years to come and study there. The reason simple, because when it comes to ag knowledge, skill, experience, technology, I think that Penn State University and the universities in Pennsylvania, stands very tall. And so the advancements in the institutions when it comes to training and capacity building in Pennsylvania is there. And so for countries like Ghana and those in West Africa, we look up to tapping into the skills, knowledge, and experience of those who have been there so that we would be able to be more technically efficient in our production. And so when senior citizen Stan was talking about, Liberia and others, I said, why not Ghana? Mention Ghana. Because you see, again, in West Africa, Ghana has developed that integrity for being one of the best in terms of our education, the quality of education. In fact, in West Africa, Ghana is has the highest number of educated citizens. And so a lot of the West African countries come to Ghana to study. And so the past 3 months, I was in Nebraska, and I was working on such an arrangement between the University of Nebraska and University of Ghana, my alma mater, School of Agriculture, so that we can have some form of a partnership to train some of the Ghanaian, prospective ag experts. And so we have even developed a program with the University of Nebraska, doing a 2-year in University of Nebraska, do 2 years in Ghana. And so this is something that we can take up. And I was just waiting for the program to end so that I can share your contacts and see how we can get Penn State University to link up to maybe Kwame Nkrumah University of Ghana or University of Development Studies. And I saw that you were trying to remember University of Development Studies. They do sustainability. And so we are talking about integrated agriculture. We see where they have relative experience. We can have some partnerships and MOUs to work on that. I hope I'm not taking too much time, Rep.
You have redeemed yourself. You can come back to the cookout. I saw another young man on the other side. We're coming to you, young man. I saw another younger man over there. Raise your hand. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay, so let me help him with that. Yeah, I want to provide more information. Annually we spend $450 million to import dairy products, and we do not produce dairy at all. We do livestock, we do cattle, but the cattle we have are not dairy cattle, so they are not efficient. They do not give us the milk. And so earlier in our discussion with David, in fact, one of the key reasons I wanted to visit the farm show was the dairy industry. So I took them to see the cattle and look at the breeds that they have. But it's an opportunity, a huge opportunity, $450 million opportunity lying right there for somebody to take it up. And for Pennsylvania, you are there in terms of dairy. And so this is an opportunity that we can bring businesses to invest in Ghana, for example. And we are doing virtually zero when it comes to dairy production. And so this is one area that I think that we should draw our attention to. That's what he was trying to bring up.
Absolutely. I don't want to take off.
You're good.
Well, we always like the word dairy in Pennsylvania. Milk alone for us is about just about a quarter of our state receipts. Because it's such a top commodity. If you were walking around the farm show today and taking a look, you would have seen a lot of focus on dairy, whether it was the dairy barns. I'm not sure if there were any dairy cattle being shown today, but there were. Yeah.
A lot of them.
I lose track of what's being shown on what days. But we also have like a calving area to help educate the consumers about where milk comes from, where dairy products come from. So it's just a few examples. But yes, we always have a lot of interest in our dairy industry because our farmers and our dairy businesses do it so well here in Pennsylvania. And I think one of the really neat things about Pennsylvania's dairy industry is in comparison to some of the states in the Midwest that have very, very large dairies, our dairies tend to be smaller. And so I think they can be maybe more applicable and achievable to countries that are looking to grow their dairy industry. So because we have such a robust dairy industry, we have a lot of stakeholders that are very interested in sharing knowledge and experience from farmers on through the value chain with some of our international guests. In fact, just yesterday, I know that the African Caribbean Business Council brought a group to a farm in Lancaster County that does dairy and other things very well. And so those guests were able to learn more about one of our dairy farms and kind of how they do business. So all that to say is we're happy to have a conversation about your interests, and we're always willing to see how we can connect government officials with some of our folks here in dairy or any other industry to see if we can find some, matching interests. We can't promise that anybody's going to necessarily go and invest, but we can promise to help you find some folks that are willing to have a conversation.
Yeah, okay.
Sure.
Like you said, it's Penn State University. So it's here, but we just got to get together in the same room for a minute and resolve that problem. I can see it being resolved once we put them in the room and make them stay there until they get it done.
Young man, old school. You have a question, sir? Yes.
Excellency, I'd like to just go back a step with what you're talking about on the education piece. Are you open to virtual education?
Certainly, we can do that. It works better these days when it's virtual.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that.
All right, sure.
Quickly say thank you for all you do for us. We appreciate your help and support to the African Caribbean Business Council. But I just want to add another idea and the possibility of His Excellency the Ambassador going with us to the port on Friday. My governor and our state has put over $300 million, Thomas, into the port to make our port not only efficient but equal to China and whatnot. So we have an opportunity with the port, with the programs that David is paying. I mean, you probably didn't listen to him very well, but they can put together resources to invite Ghanaian companies to be here, provide technical assistance and training. So somewhere between his pocketbook and the budget that the rep has already approved for them, there's a deal. There's a deal. You know what I mean? I just don't want you to come here and say that, oh, we had a nice time, we went to the port, we had some sandwiches and some, no. This is a deal in this room. It can be made, and we know what I want to congratulate Dave because, everybody's going to China and getting that business, doing that business. But he's taken the initiative to go to Africa and to help work with ACBC and the many other organizations here. So that takes an effort. I mean, I can tell you at my advanced age, there was a time when nobody talked about Africa in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, okay? So this is an opportunity here. I don't want you to miss it. The door's open. And listen, I mean, the other thing I like is we got politicians that say, what, they didn't do what? Right. Get them, okay? So
full disclosure, y'all, I know where this is about to go, Brother Stan. So I did say we passed a budget.
Okay, all right.
And you
And
know,
then we
some
had-
things, once you pass it, they got to be allocated. So we about to start a new cycle. So I know how them calls about to, had to do that real quick with the housekeeping, because I'm about to get a call from appropriations, like, what you doing? Spending stuff that you don't have. So I just wanted to be clear about when we say what happens when we pass, and then things fall through. So, but I don't want any, I didn't want us to miss this moment. I see the ball scrapped the mic. Go ahead, Ms. Aisha.
So this is also being live streamed, and there are a couple of questions online about the website that lists past strategic partnerships, affiliated country, along with international cultural exchange, skill-based education, and commodities. So that would be through the Department of Community Economic Development, International Affairs. So I'm sure David will give that website. And then the other question is, will there be a list of partnering countries, or is it open game in establishing an international partner? And then finally, how can I inquire and sign up? And so that is for Florence to give her information, and the website to sign up for the trade mission, and for Stan to provide his information for folks to sign up to participate in the work that you're doing. And also for Thomas to provide his information for folks to sign up and participate in the World Trade Center programs. Thank you.
There's another question in the back? It's a wrap, everybody? Okay. First and foremost, I have to give a standing ovation to Aisha and her team. I love y'all. And I know his other side of the world is looking out. Thank you, Senator Street. One of the things in our roles as lawmakers, we stay ready so we don't have to get ready. So I tell people, if you see one, you see the other. We work in this lane of legislation together, and one of the unique factors is by my side being in the House with that one seat majority. Sometimes I'm able to take little privileges like this. So thank you for being here. Start thinking about your list. I know people think they got a lot of time when you come before lawmakers, and my good brother just summed up a lot of the things that we saying. We are real simple individuals. People who know me, I'm a real straight shooter. I tell people all the time, please do not, this is the time of year. If you were trying to do a presentation to Rep Parker with 20 pages, please don't do that, not now. We don't. We literally, it's not that time of year. We just recommend individuals, if you want to have a one-pager with your bullets and really be precise on what your ask is. You have the decision makings here, and I love you, brother. And it's just all in fun. I tell everybody all the time, coming to meet with Representative Parker, I make people feel as comfortable as they possibly can, because I know it takes a lot of guts for people to come before you and really to admit that they're in need, but they don't really know how to navigate this whole crazy world of government. Unfortunately, a lot of people are believing what they're seeing on social media, and that's just what they think my world is, and my world is not like that. Some of the things that you guys were talking about, I was putting out a fire in my district, because why? It's re-election time, so I got to pivot, right? So as I share all of those things with you, we are here. We want to make sure that we provide the necessary tools. And also, we have stories. When I heard from the young man of Penn State has opportunities for, especially for African Americans, and not just African American, but children in agriculture. They can get a free school tuition available if you want to be in the world of agriculture. So I'm sharing all of those things with you, that we don't take advantage of what we had today in this room. You had the Secretary of Education, a Secretary of Agriculture here in this room. We just talked about how we passed a $50 billion budget. So when we say all of these things, I just tell people, when you come before your representatives or your senators, please be ready, do your homework, understand what is at stake, think about what your ask really is, that maybe you may not be ready. And I'll tell you also, even though you'll hear big numbers of $50 billion, there's still some things we still have not passed, okay? The legalization of marijuana, skill gains. So when you don't have access of other dollars that are coming in, just because you hear the big number of 50 billion, it's now about to get shrink, because we don't have other access when you hear about our funding stream. But I tell people, don't use that as a discouragement not to speak and meet with your individuals for government. Just some quick civics. There are 3 branches of government. We have a judiciary branch, we have our executive branch, and we have your legislative branch. I am the part of your legislative branch. Your legislative, who is your state reps and your Congress, we run every 2 years. I was just sharing that with everybody, because everything that you're hearing on the federal side, when those funds come through, guess who it is? Us. So as you're talking about funding, we are the individuals when it comes through the state, we're the individuals who have to talk about these dollars. And how it's going to be allocated and where it's going to be allocated. And we need to make sure that if you want to be on the menu, this is the time to make sure that your ask is on the menu, because if not, it's going to be in the wayside. That's being very kind and being direct, and just start to think about it. And I'm glad that Secretary Rendy and we were able to share that story of the urban garden in my district, who were very, very nervous. And at that time, by them being nervous, they asked me for $25,000. And in their mind, they were just nervous. And I'm telling, this is not the time to be nervous. This is the time to ask questions. And it's about receipts. So sometimes when Representative Parker may not answer some of your monetary emails, it's called receipts, my line of work. Brother Stan, I don't want to get in trouble another way, so don't get offended when Representative Parker do not talk about monetary things in an email. I may say, let's meet in person for a cup of coffee, so that we can really go in it. Because sometimes their zero may be a little less than what it should be, and I don't want people to get the wrong impression. So I just wanted to say thanks to all of you. Please enjoy all of the great food that we have at this farm show. And not by Uber Eats, but you can go downstairs and get it as much as you can. And Aisha, you gonna close us out? Thank you, everybody. It was an honor being your moderator. I'm State Representative Dorisha Parker. Thank you, and shout out to Senator Street and Aisha for believing in me, for bringing us here on time. So thank you so much. I love you, brother. I love you, brother. Yeah, I know you gotta talk to me. We're gonna see you soon. We got a conference in the fall. You gotta come on back for our conference.
So I just wanted to just remind folks who are here in the room to sign up at the sign-in sheet so that we can continue to keep in contact with you. I want to thank Representative Parker. Did she do a great job? She did a great job. I heard some connections here in the room, and I'm really happy about those solid connections. And I just want to say that this is just one of the conversations that Senator Street has about this issue ongoing all throughout the year. So there are things that we do. Check out his website. You'll see information posted on his website about continuing to connect with folks about international trade and development, but also about diverse and small business development. We do a small business development forum every year in the fall. Check out his website. Just stay connected through his social media, and you'll be able to stay connected to these folks too. So I want to thank you all and wish you all a safe journey home, and wherever home is. And again, welcome to the Farm Show. Take care, everybody.